their approach here in game 2 as they try and reset this bracket here in the grand finals.
Yeah, I think this will be the 6th match that we've watched Nemesis play. I believe they have had Decidueye at that first Dreadnought 7 minutes every single game so far.
It's just great work. I mean, they have a strategy and they're executing, and like you said, they're making the other teams make them change something, and so far no team has done a very good job with that. Now Rex as Enable, and of course our wonderful little Rowlet in the bottom path here, going to try and hold it down as our Trio doing our Trio things with that Greedent playing on the other side of the map.
Yeah, one thing that actually we didn't discuss that's a change possibility is I wonder if the Blissey is perhaps the right pick for Blossom in the bottom path there. There's notably kind of a lack of suppression on the side of the Nemesis team with their current composition, so perhaps not gaining as much value from that melee support pick as they otherwise could from something else.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. We see that experience funneling to Rex again. They want to get them to level 4. Our Trio just being a menace in that top path, waiting for Trainer LGC, and there they are. I mean, our Trio and Trainer LGC have been just truck and trailer through this top path at these early stages of the game, and it's looked great. Look at our Trio already agreed, and they're going to get in there with a big belch and get a good portion of these Bs for themselves as well.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier in the cast that anytime your non-Lucario Pokemon is at parity with Lucario in the early game, you're super excited. Atreus actually ahead of the Lucario to start here, which is no mean feat. Like, that is very impressive from our top path player here on Nemesis.
Without a doubt. Something Nemesis has done exceptionally well in the top path is also mitigate the presence of that central area player coming in to try and kind of get those cheeky KOs. Nemesis hasn't really gotten caught too many times here, and that's of course been to their advantage. That bottom path working through is our Trio who's trying to put some work in on Retsu with his belches. Are they going to be able to close it out on Lucario? Just both berries going to the Greedent and they get the KO with the belch. Let's go.
It's so rude to just grab their lunch out from in front of them and just knock them out afterwards while your health bar is full and theirs isn't, Doom. That being said, we actually see exactly what I talked about a moment ago with Ryan kind of showing up here early in the bottom path, pushing to give their team an advantage and try to get that Dartrix behind before it can turn into a Decidueye.
Well, they have hard work ahead of them here as that Dartrix is in the middle here getting work through. Our Trio and Trainer not letting Retsu breathe up here in this top path, forcing them all the way back down the lane to that first goal zone here, and that just opens the squares up to just brain in some points, and Trainer LGC does.
Really love this positioning here from Nemesis yet again. Greedent recognizing that, oh, they're going to need me bottom path. I'm running down ASAP, while Greninja stays top for Nemesis, trying to get some more experience so it can hit that valuable level 9 threshold before this objective. Speaking of level 9, Ryan coming in as a Charizard here with that Unite move at will.
Yeah, they were just mowed down that Slowbro, and now it's Blossom with the positional advantage on that Dreadnought. Rin gonna try and keep the bubble out and keep As Enable down. They do. That's KO number 1, and Rin is seeing our Trio saying, I want more squirrel on my menu today, as they're working through, but our Trio's being slipped. They catch the Unite move. Talking about catching a receipt there. Our Trio comes through. Elo closes it out with the Ivysaur on the Dreadnought, and just what a look by Blossom as they're moving as a unit here, crashing onto this bottom goal zone, and a Surf by Rex is not gonna get it done as Blossom is one codified unit here pushing through, and they're going to try and close this thing down, maybe with Rin's 40 banger. No, forced to retreat and leaving that goal zone on just a sliver of health.
Well, it's worth noting too here, Dupe, that a lot of these teams, we've seen Nemesis explicitly break that bottom point, but a lot of these teams, given the option, choose to leave it up because all of those valuable wild Pokemon continue to spawn in the space between these goals if both goal zones are left up. So we see Blossom leaving 3 Pokemon bottom so they can continue to get more experience and get further ahead in the face of the advantage they already have against Nemesis.
Well, Nemesis, we haven't seen them lose a first Dreadnought a lot today, and they lost that one, and that kind of shifts where they have to go. The Decidueye, we saw them in the top path trying to get experience, but here's Trainer LGC, and the fight's kicking off. We're throwing in some darts here as the Belly Berry Flop here comes in by the Greed, and they're going to work through, going to start belching all over the place, and that's going to open up Nemesis to score some points, and here we go. The Decidueye is going to try and rain in some points if they can free it up from Blossom's presence here, and there we go. Just all the players on Nemesis on that goal zone going to try and get some points in quickly, as there we go, Yeet fan. Oh no, they get sussed out and they get scored on before they can get their points in. Retsu working on Rotom alone.
Really seeing the power of Spirit Shackle in that engagement. Ryan walked up on Charizard a little bit, but it was so chunked. It had to back up before it could even really take that engage for fear of another arrow coming across and knocking them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a place I'd want to be. Our trio just all over Retsu, not giving them any space to breathe here. Trainer LGC getting into the mix, and they're just going to take some of these wild Pokemon again, trying to keep the levels away from Blossom. Here comes Rin, though. Charizard is not a person I'd want to mess with, not a Pokemon I'd like to mess with either, as they get their points in easily. Plus 40 off the back of the Rotom and get in there. But the Hoop Unbound pulling in the players here, and they're getting to the action. Trainer LGC, last one in, first KO to them as they're working through, eating up the Hoopa here. Elo getting caught down by our trio. They're getting belched on, and here we go. The Charizard gets a KO back on Hoopa, and now we're moving through Elo. Gonna find out Rex, gonna chip in. Our trio and LGC not gonna let it go without their presence belt either. Faz just getting in the mix as well. Everybody's chopping into each other. Nobody's taking the body. They're all working on Dreadnought, and that's Rin that seals it up for Blossom. And now the KOs start falling off the back of the experience and shields here as the Venusaur gets a KO. 3 players down for Nemesis, and what a push by Blossom.
What an incredible engagement overall. I think if you're on Nemesis' side there, you got to be shaking your head a little bit the way that objective went. You had a Surf Greninja there, you had a Greedent there, you had a Spirit Shackle Decidueye there, and somehow the Charizard, with its many small ticks, was able to secure that really valuable last hit there, giving the experience over to Blossom's team here. And we head into the 3-minute and 30-second mark here. We can see a very solid experience lead for Blossom. The higher the levels on their team, the more likely they are to win that ultimate team fight engagement before that Zapdos at the end.
I'm watching the pips for Nemesis up top. They're kind of all around that Blissey right there, and they're kind of joining up in the middle as we're going to see who's going to be on the chopping block or who these teams try to eye down to get some KOs. They're actually just kind of bubbling around each other, not willing to engage just yet, but there's the Decidueye getting 40 points downstairs as Elo, the Venusaur, going to try and cut that off a little bit, but not before another tick goes in. Yeet Fan's probably going to go down here, and not a bad spot to take a KO. If you're Nemesis, it could have been worse, but now these teams are posturing around the road.
Honestly, I think if your Nemesis is Decidueye there, Yeet Fan, you're not too upset with that knockout overall. Not only did you dunk 45 points in there, but more importantly, you got 2 attack weight stacks, which Decidueye's really been struggling to get in this match so far. The way that first Dreadnought played out, they weren't able to push up afterwards like they typically do. This Rotom's going to be walking in at a kind of inopportune time, but with the amount of damage Decidueye and Greninja are able to chunk out, they should hopefully be able to clear it no problem before the Zapdos spawns.
Kind of seems like Nemesis is going to leave that up to the Greedent and the Greninja there as all of Blossom is rotating down. Going to maybe make a move on this Dreadnought. So far, Blossom has taken every single objective in this map, Jeff.
We see not only is Rin level 14 with Charizard here, but they have 2 level 13 characters on top of that. Venusaur especially becomes an incredible monster to engage with once it hits 13. The Petal Dance just has such an incredible radius while you have speed to run people down.
Kind of like a fake bait and switch here. Nobody actually going for the Dreadnought. They're going after each other. You just hoop on bounds coming into each other here as Blossom is getting pushed back by Nemesis. Nobody's down yet. A couple buddy barriers have been melted through, and that's what it's going to come down to. Who can be left standing here as the big Surf comes in, catches a couple players, and that's a Decidueye following up with the KO here as more Unites are flying. The buddy barriers are stacked up. That's 2 players down for Blossom, 3 for Nemesis. But here we go. Trainer LGC is a big carry here, but they go down to the Charizard, and Lucario takes out Hoopa, and now Blossom has all the pressure around the Zapdos. Here's Elo is left alone to try and mow it down. Blossom's resetting, gonna try and get some HP, but here comes the absolute menace, Greedent running through and pulling Elo's attention away, and that Zapdos is still there, which means Nemesis completely comes off respawn, and he'll have another crack at it in what I call an honest fight, because there's no Unite moves left.
Yeah, this is the re-engage. I don't think we've actually seen a re-engage like this a single time today in the tournament. Both teams kind of exhausting each other in a pretty even fight. Respawn timers come up, a couple of people reset, and Charizard going down here in the top path is huge. Time is getting short, but that should turn the battle in Nemesis' favor if they're able to convert on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're falling like dominoes on Blossom now. Their 2 attackers are just going down. Just Elo left to deal out the damage. There goes Faz. That's 3 down for Blossom. Nemesis is getting better. This extreme chainer. LGC gonna find it here. Can they take out the Zapdos in time with the full team wipe on Blossom? That's everyone down on Blossom, and it's all on Nemesis now, as I think they're gonna get a free shot on it. The rest of their players are already going to score.
Yeah, I love this with the non-damage characters just walking up so they can get their points in and get reset with plenty of time. They know that the game is close overall. They're up by 100 points now, and Blossom basically just has to full speed run across the map. And we see a concession there, it looks like, because this